Many of you know that I've already done a video on this McKamey Manor subject. You might have also noticed that video is no longer up on my Facebook fan page. I could lie to you and say that I simply took it down because I felt like it for no real reason, but unlike the people who run McKamey Manor, I don't feel like actually deceiving you all right to your faces. The real reason I took that video down is, shortly after I put it up, my Facebook's fan page's inbox got hit with over 400 different items of hate mail and death threats. Why is this? Well, around the time I did that video, 4chan's paranormal forum, yes, I said 4chan, paranormal forum on there, went nuts about this topic, and they were saying the same things that I was saying, that it's a huge health and safety violation, and that it needs to be looked into. At the same time, members of the paranormal forum on 4chan infiltrated the reservations group for McKamey Manor and started taking screenshots of what goes on in there. One of the people who posts in there blew my mind that they post in there, and their post, I feel, is the reason I got hit with such a randomly huge volume of hate mail. Check this next screenshot out. Many of you are going to recognize that name. I really thought that it was above them to trivialize what I said in my previous video and then bring it to a group of hostile and aggressive people as if it were just a joke, thinking they'd know better than that. But of course, I guess I overestimated quite a bit. I don't want to associate with this person anymore because whether they would want to admit it or not, what they did seriously fucked up my day. I had 400 different people coming into my inbox threatening to hurt me, threatening to hurt my fiance, and threatening to hurt my family. My family lives only one state away from this place.
We have new developments tonight about this haunted house in the North County that many believe is the most terrifying in the entire country. We first told you about this haunted house last Friday at 11 o'clock. Well, it's new tonight. The owner tells 10 News reporter Dan Haggerty that he is now getting death threats about this whole thing. And now, Dan, we understand the FBI may be involved.
You know, Steve, look around. It looks like a normal neighborhood, doesn't it? Driving through here, you would never imagine that a few nights a week, year-round, this happens here. Take a look. Hard to believe this video was shot inside a seemingly normal Rancho Penasquitos home by a seemingly normal guy.
The reality of it is, it's all smoke and mirrors.
Russ McKamey runs McKamey Manor out of his house. This stuff is catered to the most hardcore haunters out there, if you can't tell. Just 2 people go through a night for 8 hours of this, though no one's ever lasted that long. It's developed an international cult following with a waiting list of more than 20,000 people.
Well, just this little independent little attraction that we're doing, just for the fun of it, and it became worldwide, and I don't know how.
Or quite how to deal with his newly found fame and the people who disagree with this sort of entertainment.
We get death threats on a daily basis, serious death threats.
McKamey says he gets calls, emails, and hackers trying to stop this, threatening to kill them and blow up the house, among other things.
The police are involved, the FBI is involved now. I mean, these are just, it's crazy.
Especially crazy because everyone working for him does it for free, and McKamey doesn't make a dime. McKamey loves greyhounds, so to get in, all it costs you is a donation of dog food. He says they have made a few changes because of these death threats, a couple precautions in place, but they don't plan to slow down. Reporting live tonight, Dan Haggerty, 10 News.
I find it really ironic and kind of pathetic that after I go public and say I've been getting death threats from the people who work in the employ of this place, this guy goes out and says exactly the same thing. Why do I have such a big problem with this place? None of the footage you saw in that article is representative of what actually goes on in this event. This is more representative of what people go through. You might want to brace yourself, it's pretty harsh.
Hold it in! I'm tired of you throwing up in my room. You understand? Get your arms up higher! This is nothing. Aren't you glad you came in, Steve? Get your head. I'm talking to you, Steve. Aren't you glad you're here, Steve? Aren't you glad it's only gone 4.5 hours? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
screaming. Might have been right-minded. I'm scared.
Yeah. You know, we haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. Why are you crying?
And if you think that's bad, check this little gem out. Unfortunately, this clip did not come equipped with audio, but essentially, there's a section of the tour where they simulate waterboarding. Guantanamo Bay can't even get away with this. Let me play that for you one more time. You cannot design a waiver or contractual agreement that would protect you in court for treating people this way. At all. You can't abuse people in this manner and say, well, they signed up for it, and think that will hold up in a court of law unless you're an idiot of the highest order, which I think this guy has to be. You are abusing people, violating their human rights, and you are creating a health and safety violation of the highest order. And you're doing so in an unbelievably deceptive way. The footage in the article that I put in this video is from 2 years ago. It is not representative whatsoever of how this place runs now. The gross shit I just showed you is how it runs now. And I find it interesting that whenever this place comes up in the news, and it's come up in the news twice, he would rather display it as how it used to be as opposed to how it is. And I don't like that. I don't like that somebody has managed to set something up either in the privacy of their own home or at a ranch called Hazy Meadow Ranch and Carriage, where supposedly this place takes place now. He's never been straightforward about it, but he's hinted that it doesn't take place in his home anymore. But the fact that they're able to run something like this and treat people this way, I don't think that anyone who signs up for it is fully aware that that is what they're going to go through, and you can seriously injure someone. In the one video I showed the clip from where the guy is being pushed underwater, at the end of his run-through, you can find it up on their YouTube, he is hypothermic. He is shivering and shaking all over the place. And what does his A-trained medical staff do? Only one member of the team is actually medically trained. And I think they're barely medically trained because they slap some blankets on him and check his pupil dilation, and that's it. This guy could have gone into either cardiac arrest or shock, and his death would be on your ass at that point. That would be your problem. You're responsible for the safety of people that go through this. When you run an event where your employees can spit in people's faces, they spit fake blood in your face, but there's still spit in that. There's still saliva in that. That's bodily fluids. Okay? When people are coming out of this thing, bashed up and bruised, being vomited on, am I supposed to sit here and think that this is okay? Are you so stupid, Russ McKamey, that you actually think that this is a cool thing to run, that it's all fun and games? I mean, do you really think people believe that? When you're so dumb, you put old footage in news articles on live TV of a place that doesn't run like this anymore while leaving up videos of how it is run on your YouTube. Do you really think that people believe you have a single sense of consistency? No, we don't. You're lying your ass off because now you're in some hot water. As everyone knows, I've been on this website practically since its beginning. And this is the same kind of shit that people pull here on YouTube. But unfortunately, this guy is pulling it in front of his entire community. Another thing I find really stinky about all this, and really fucking stanks to high heaven, is how he funds this place. He claims to have invested over $500,000 into this. I fail to see where all that money went. When you look at some of the videos and clips of this, I fail to see where that money goes. He says that he accepts donations for a charity named Operation Greyhound. It's for rescuing greyhound dogs. You can look up this charity and find the website, but when you find the website, ironically, it's never been updated since 2007. And the most important page for a charity website, it's IRS information, straight up 404s when you want to check it out. So it makes me wonder, are the donations even going to anything at all? I doubt it. I doubt it. He's probably got a huge stockpile of dog food in his house, and he's trying to make it look like it's a charitable donation for somewhere, so he can get a tax write-off on it. That's not legal. That's unbelievably illegal. Now, I skimmed the different 4chan threads that were being posted on the paranormal boards about this, and people were stating there's a rumor going around that he also allows people to bet on what happens to people within this event as it is now, where they're being waterboarded, where they're being vomited on, where they're being beat up and spit on. And depending on how far that these people get pushed, the bets increase. Sparing the fact that that, in essence, was the plot to the third Hostel film. It's backed up by him having stated in various interviews that this event does get live streamed to an unknown group of people in Las Vegas. You all know I lived there for a while. There's some seriously fucked up people that live there. There's a lot of people I can figure would take an interest in shit like this. And they probably would go so far as to bet on it, because to be honest, people will bet on anything in Vegas. I've seen it. So, that is also incredibly illegal. You're betting on essentially human torture. At that point, it becomes a little less hazy as to how he could put $500,000 worth of an investment into a whatever the fuck you want to call this. Everything about this just stinks to high heaven, and I don't like it. I don't like that someone is able to get away with this. I don't like how they're able to manipulate the media in order to work to their advantage, where they can just say, hey, it's just all fun and games. I mean, yeah, there are people being fed rotten food to the point they vomit on one another, but hey, it's just fun and games. And I also don't like how the media in his local town is being played like this. I'm not a journalist. I'm barely an independent researcher. I'm a fucking YouTuber. And even I did more in-depth research, about 5 seconds worth on Google, putting all this together. And no matter how you put these pieces together, they don't fit in a very flattering way. Oh, and if you really don't believe me that people are getting seriously injured, remember those bearded guys I put in the video earlier where they were puking on each other? The next screenshot shows a little bit of the aftermath of what they went through while they were posting about it in the reservations group for this. One of them popped a blood vessel in his fucking eye. That's not cool. So what can be done about this place? A lot of people have already contacted the authorities down there, and I think it's one of the reasons that Russ decided to go on the news and make his big whiny statement about all this, because he's finally in some hot water for all this. But if you feel the need to, you can... Alright. So what all can be done about this? A lot of people have already contacted the San Diego authorities about this, and I think it's one of the reasons that Russ decided to make some whiny statement on his local news about being... So what all can be done about this? Well, a lot of people have already taken it upon themselves to call the San Diego authorities, San Diego is where this is run, and let them know about this. I think it's one of the reasons that Russ, the owner of this place, decided to get on his local news and make some big whiny statement about how he's the victim, even though his whole event is based on victimizing other people's shortcomings. If you feel the need, though, however, you can look at the paste bin link I will post below this video and check out some of the info there for yourself. Copy and paste it with the message that I'll put at the top of the header for it, and send it to various news outlets that I will link in the description box below. I feel that the news outlets down there and across the country are getting completely wrong info for totally nebulous reasons by these people, so they can mislead media outlets about the nature of their event. I ran a lot of different events when I was working in Las Vegas. Many of you already know this. And you can't do this. You can't. You can't make anything that would protect your ass in court against any liability if you do these things to people. And I think that this has just now occurred to Russ. So, I'm some ginormous asshole on the internet, and so are the people that run McKamey Manor, sort of. Actually, they're worse. Anyway, until next time, thank you for watching.